Today I'd like to discuss what it takes to establish a plot owners association pursuant or using the Texas Health and Safety Code, Chapter 711.22. Let's go ahead and take a look at that document. 711.22 is found in the Texas statutes. This is a state law. It's underneath the Health and Safety Code. And it discusses the formation of a nonprofit cemetery corporation by plot owners. Okay, we'll discuss what a plot owner is in just a minute. It says the plot owners may organize a nonprofit corporation to receive title to land previously dedicated to cemetery purposes. The plot owners must, 1, publish a notice of the time and place of the organizational meeting in a newspaper in the county, if there is a newspaper, for 30 days before the date of the meeting, and post a written notice at the cemetery of the time and place of a meeting for at least 30 days before the date of the meeting. Okay? So we've posted the sign, and we were going to post a notice, but we felt we didn't have enough people contacted. So this first meeting is just going to discuss exactly what we would like to do. And it depends on getting plot owners together. And so letter C says the majority of the plot owners present and voting at the meeting shall decide whether to incorporate and to convey the land to the corporation. So what's important to remember about any of these Texas statutes that we're discussing, and again, this is 711.022, that this was brought into law in 1989. So a lot of these laws were developed in the late 1980s, early 1990s to address some of the issues for the older cemeteries, much like the one we're talking about, the Jones Community Cemetery, which has burials that date back into the 1870s. So again, these are guidelines, and it's not going to address every single situation. It's just a mechanism whereby the state legislature allows descendants and plot owners to come together, form an organization, and then start conducting business the way that we conduct businesses now, and not the way they did in the 1870s. So, when you go to Chapter 711 of the Health and Safety Code, the very first part of many statutes will have definitions. And this is taken from the definition of a plot owner. It means a person in whose name a plot is listed in the cemetery organization's office as the owner of the exclusive right of sepulture, which means burial, or who holds from a cemetery organization a certificate of ownership or other instrument of conveyance of the exclusive right of sepulture in a particular plot in the organization cemetery. So in order to form a plot owners association, it has to be instigated by the plot owners. Here's the problem. Our cemetery is 100 years older than the law. And so we don't have a cemetery office. We don't have a long history of selling properties with deeds and other things. While there's no doubt in my mind that there are some families who have a deed, there are going to be a lot of families, because we're several generations removed, who no longer have any paperwork. So this is the challenge. The way we're going to address that is going to be dealt with in another section of the Health and Safety Code that deals with the right to inter somebody into a burial plot. All right, we're still in the Health and Safety Code, Chapter 711, but now we're at 0.39, which deals with the right of interment in a plot. And again, I'm not going to read all through this because this is a little bit lengthy, but it follows the property code and some other things. To summarize, if you have a husband and wife and they own several cemetery plots together, the husband dies, and assuming that they're still married and not divorced, then The rights of interment in that plot, if the husband and wife had not designated who gets what spot, all of those go to the wife. She's the next legal owner. From there, it goes to the children, the adult children of the mother and father, if the mother is deceased. From then, it can go on to the brothers and sisters, if they didn't have any kids, or the parents, if there were no children. And then it trickles down to the grandchildren and great-grandchildren. And so, again, they cannot address every single possibility. But down inside of here, it goes down to section G, and it says, the exclusive right of sepulture in an unused grave, niche, crypt, or plot in which the plot owner has been interred may be conveyed only by 1. Specific disposition of the unused grave, niche, crypt, or by express reference in a will or written declaration by the plot owner filed in the recorded office of the cemetery organization. Again, we don't know if somebody had a will. We know there's no office, but here it is. Or the surviving spouse, if any, and the heirs-in-law of the owner. If you're a descendant of somebody, you are an heir at law of the owner, assuming we're several generations away. So this is what we talk about, a plot owner. We're not in the first generation. We're second and third generations in some cases, maybe fourth. For many of you, you're not going to have a deed. There's not going to be a will, any probate. In this particular cemetery, they were simple farmers. They didn't have lawyers and things like that. So the law does allow heirs at law of the owner, the descendants, to take ownership of these plots. So in order to establish who plot owners are, we're going to have people fill out an affidavit of heirship for the cemetery space. Fill out an affidavit, sign it in front of a notary public, and then go have that document on file. There's a fee for that. Over at the county records office, we're asking you to do this, and then you can come back and hand your document in. We will vet you as a plot owner based on your affidavit and perhaps a family tree. And then we will have a list of plot owners who can vote to incorporate. Once those plot owners vote, say, yes, we're going to incorporate, then we'll open it up for descendants and other folks. We'll make it an easy process. But this is what needs to be done in order to meet the requirements for the state of Texas to be a plot owner and to incorporate an old family cemetery. Sounds difficult, but it's not.